Hey everyone, I am Nathaniel Rufflejants, and this is Prime News. So our first story today, the lead story, deals with the Universal Studios Nintendo theme park heading to Orlando. It's kind of a multifaceted story, so there's a lot of little tiny details, but all of them are important. And the first part is that it appears that the theme park itself will not be opening until 2023, which does mark a delay over the original date that was several years sooner. Now, while they're not announcing exactly why that is the case, we do have some details on some attractions that are moving around, and additionally that they are adding a Pokemon theme park. So with the new addition of Pokemon and things moving around, that's probably why there's a delay. But the Pokemon theme park is heading to Universal Studios of Orlando, according to ABC. It says it will be added to the Kid Zone area, where currently the Woody Woodpecker and Barney attractions are located. They originally meant for that area to be reserved for the Mario Kart and Donkey Kong coaster, but that is supposedly being moved to the new 400 acres Universal just recently bought that's literally across the street. So probably due to buying all that new land, obviously this is a little speculation on my part, but when you buy all that new land, you got to renovate it, you got to do all these changes to it to make it suitable to be an amusement park, and that's just going to delay things out. You know, maybe most of Nintendo World might even move to those new 400 acres, who knows. But it's a little disappointing for those people that were hoping to go over the next few years. But hey, you know what? 2023, that's actually a good age for me to try to take my family. We'll see if we can afford the trip at the time. But I would love to go and take my children. You know, I have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old. You know, you figure you're projecting out at this point 5 years. So my daughter will be, 12, and my son will be 9, and my other son will be 7. So 7, 9, 12. It feels like good ages to take them out to Orlando. Maybe we'll even travel by car, save a little money on the flight. But we'll see what happens there. I am excited about this. I wonder if you guys are excited about this. Sucks it's delayed, but hey, they're adding Pokemon. That's might be worth the delay all on its own. Beyond that, our next story deals with the Japan weekly sales update. Not a ton of updates, exciting ones at least to give you this week, but the Nintendo Switch itself sold 40,000 units for the week last week. Kirby Star Allies is actually back at the #1 spot on the software charts, so all those new PlayStation 4 and Vita games that released over the last couple of weeks have now sunk well below Kirby. It moved 35,319 units last week, and that moves the total for the game up to 392,413 overall. Kirby just continuing to chug along. Again, Nintendo tends to release these evergreen titles that just keep selling. To further prove that, Splatoon 2, which was a release last year, is at the #3 spot with 21,890 units moved. That has sold over 2 million units. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at #4 with 13,849. And yeah, even Breath of the Wild and Odyssey chimed in at 6 and 7. I didn't write down the sales data for it, but it doesn't really matter. Nintendo games are just evergreen, especially in Japan. So things are going very, very well, and we haven't even gotten Pokemon and Smash Bros. Yokai Watch 4 that's coming that we announced yesterday. So lots of big games coming down the pipeline for Switch in Japan. I think sales are only going to continue to boom this year. So for our third story, this is a really interesting one because this language has existed for a while, but the FTC has sent a letter to Nintendo warning them that their warranty language is illegal. Specifically, the following line: "This warranty shall not apply if this product is used with products not sold or licensed by Nintendo." Now, they have been using that line in their legal terminology on all of their items for their warranties for many, many years, probably going back at least a decade or more. But the FTC itself has come in and stated the following: "Unless warrantors provide the parts or services for free or receive a waiver from the FTC, such statements generally are prohibited by the Magnus-Moss Warranty Act, a law that governs consumer product warranties." Long story short, Nintendo cannot refuse to service your item if you used it with a third-party accessory that was not officially licensed. This obviously might be coming to light now with the recent bricking of Switches being used with the Nyko docks and other various items where people are using third-party products and it's harming their items and Nintendo's refusing to cover it under their warranty. Turns out they can't be refusing to cover it because of a law that was set in place with the Magnus Moss Warranty Act. So unless Nintendo is offering those services for free, which they don't because the warranty itself only lasts a year. So Nintendo's not offering the docks for free, the accessories for free, none of it for free, so they have to cover it. It is what it is. I think Nintendo is probably going to adjust the language a little bit. I don't know if they could still find a way to make third-party accessories be something that, if it harms your Switch, isn't covered by the warranty. Maybe there's some workarounds they can do with that. But I feel like it's one of those situations that unless people are modifying their Switch, I don't really think that Nintendo's going to be able to wiggle their way out of it. It's ultimately not a big deal because this is the laws that govern all consumer products in the United States. So the fact that Nintendo is kind of flown under the radar until recently when someone probably brought it to light to the FTC when they probably tried to file a claim to get their Switch covered by the warranty and Nintendo denied it. It is what it is. So sucks that Nintendo kind of flew under the radar with this, but at least in the United States, they're going to have to change their terminology up, maybe change their policies up, and this ultimately is going to lead to more and more consumers allowed to use third-party stuff with their Switch and still have it covered by warranty. So as long as you're not literally opening up your Switch and breaking that warranty sticker, you're probably going to be okay in the future as long as it's within that first year window. So our next story is actually about a Switch hacker. Now, we've gotten a lot of flack for covering the hacking community. We've also gotten some praise. I'm not really here to debate here or there. We'll talk about it on Prime Comments. But what I do want to talk about here is a Switch hacker has added a functionality to the Switch that many people, including myself, desperately want, and that is backup saves. They have it working locally on the Switch, so you're able to take the saves and back it up to a micro SD card. It took him about 2 weeks. That's right, just 2 weeks to get it to work. Now, to be fair, this wasn't developing something from scratch. What they did, what this person did, and his name is Bernardo Goriando, he previously created a backup file system feature for the 3DS called Checkpoint, and PKSM, which was a backup save feature for Pokemon games. He took his Checkpoint system and basically adapted it to Switch. So he didn't have to build anything from the ground up. So if Nintendo was to make a backup system, they probably are starting at ground zero and need to build it up. But that being said, it's very interesting to see that this hacker had something ready to go, got it done in 2 weeks, and now it works on Switch. It is not currently released publicly yet. It is still in the testing phase. He doesn't want to release it publicly until all the bugs and little quirks are worked out, but it does work. There's some screenshot evidence of it working. This was posted by Kotaku, so all credit to them. Great stuff here. I obviously really want this feature to come, and if obviously the hacking community is the one providing it, this should just hopefully push Nintendo even more to be like, hey, look, we got to do something. Again, maybe they have cloud saves coming in September, but I would like something local as well. I don't think if they just offer cloud saves, it's enough, and if they just offer local saves, it's enough. Give us options. Options are good, Nintendo. Anyways, that's my stance on that. The last story we're going to talk about today actually is just about an indie game called Bombslinger. It actually released today, and it's sort of like an indie take on Bomberman. And I could talk about its praises and talk about how much fun I seem to be having with it, but instead, just here, have a look at its launch trailer. Man, the game looks pretty good, right? And the reason I wanted to showcase this, and we don't talk a lot about indie games. Once in a while we'll cover some, but the reason I wanted to talk about this game in particular is because I've been seeing some threads recently pop up that stating the Nintendo Switch eShop is starting to become oversaturated with shovelware. And I wanted to point out this game because this game is a shining example that that's not necessarily true. While the eShop is rudimentary and could use some improving, when I check it almost on the daily, I rarely am seeing terrible games. There's always a few that kind of slip through the cracks that aren't really that great, but they're not really overshadowing all of the fantastic games coming out every single day. I just feel like people aren't checking the eShop enough. Like, if you only check it once a month, yeah, you might be, a bunch of games might be buried. But if you're a regular consumer and you're checking daily or even weekly, you're going to find a lot of really, really great games. And so far on the eShop, the cream rises to the top right now. A lot of people were starting to compare this to like the Steam store situation where there's like thousands of games releasing every day. That's insane. Switch is nowhere near that. It's still very easy to get discovered if you are a brand new release. And even if you're not a new release, you go on sale and you appear in your own section. So like you can do that as well. And I don't think that, at least at this point, I don't think Switch is being overrun with shovelware. It is an issue Nintendo has publicly stated that they are addressing in the future. They're aware of it, aware of the visibility issues. But I don't really think we're dealing with a situation of shovelware. I mean, if you look at a game like Bombslinger, to me, that's not shovelware. So I don't know what people are expecting. It's not every day you're going to get, a Travis Strikes Again or a Yooka-Laylee, right? Like these B-tier level indie games are not the norm. So I feel like people just aren't more willing to give indie games they haven't heard of a chance. When I'm going to watch all these indie trailers on games from like the last month, I'm like, dude, these games look pretty good. So what are we talking about shovelware for? Shovelware is generally considered a bunch of crap games put out there just to make money, not necessarily to be fun. And while all games exist to make money, obviously if the game is fun, you're just more likely to get your money. So I happen to think that they're doing a very good job so far. They're not curating the eShop as much, but they weren't going to curate it forever. So I don't really get the complaints. Oh, hey, my daughter really wanted to come say hi at the end. Say hi.
Hi.
Talking to the mic. This is the microphone.
Hi.
It's Miss Melody Grace. She's the one I was talking about taking to Orlando Studios. Would you like to go to a Nintendo theme park that has like a Mario Kart racing, a Donkey Kong roller coaster,
Yeah.
a Pokemon section?
Yeah.
Sounds fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Where does that work? Do. Starts with the word
Nintendo Prime.
Nintendo Prime. All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace.